From athletes to authors, entertainers to innovators, we connect with those who help shape our culture. Join us in revealing stories of their lives and backgrounds, their triumphs and tragedies that molded them into who they are today. Authentically off-script and personally illuminating, this is Audibles with Jason Scarborough. This week on Audibles, Wayne Brent.
So your story starts on June 7th, 1967 here in Jackson, Mississippi. How would you describe growing up in Jackson during that time?
Growing up in that time, I probably came from an athletic background. You know, it was sports all the time. And then back then it was different. You didn't have social media, then you didn't have this microwave society. Kids played outside. You rode your bike. You walked everywhere. It was safe. So it was a little bit different than what it is now.
So your family growing up, you mentioned you come from an athletic family. Where do you trace your athletic ability?
Well, you know, I come from an athletic background, so to speak. That's all you did as a kid. You went outside and you played basketball, you played football, you played baseball. That's all you knew. You didn't have TV games. So sports and outside was what we did.
So mom and dad kept you outside, kept you busy.
You know what? I just was an outside person. I never stayed in the house. Outside was me, and you know that's what I did every day.
Did you have any interest outside of sports, basketball, things like that when you were a kid? Any other interest?
You know, I never had another interest. It was basketball, football, baseball. It was all day long, all night long. I never wanted to do anything else. That was it.
Can you remember when basketball really started becoming a primary focus for you? How young you were when basketball became so important to you?
I would say football was my first love.
Really?
I started playing football first, and you know, I just outgrew it. It outgrew me, and then I picked up basketball. I'm gonna say probably maybe first grade.
As long as I've known you, I did not know that football was your first love.
Yeah, football was my first love.
So what was it about basketball that kind of flipped the script to where you were like, all right, I'm all in with basketball?
You know, I think the size was what switched it for me. You know, I was a smaller person, thin, so I had a basketball build. If I had a football build, then probably football would have been my sport. But I was built for basketball, and that's what I kind of fell in love with.
I can see you being a wide receiver. I can see you being a wide out though in football. So how would you say that basketball shaped your high school experience, your high school career?
It gave me that team and put that structure in your life of having to stay on a schedule, having to be on time, stay on the schedule, be committed, being able to meet deadlines, that kind of thing. So it put me in a situation where it allowed me to have some structure in my life.
Now, you played at Provine, graduated in '85. You led them to 2 city championships. You guys won over 66 games during your time there. How, when you look back at those experiences now and sitting here today, how would you say those shaped how you coach, how you played, how you carried on, and how you led from that point forward?
You know, I think growing up in JPS and just growing up in Jackson, it was a lot different than what it is now. Basketball was tougher. School, the environment was not as tough as it is right now, but the basketball part was tougher. If you went back and you looked at the kids who played in the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, and you look at the kids who play now, there's no comparison. You just had better basketball player. Everything now has moved to either to the private school or to the Madisons, the Germantowns, the Brandons, the Clintons. But back in that day, it was JPS or nothing.
So you finish at Provine, you go to University of Louisiana Monroe. Back then, I think it was Northeast Louisiana, is that right?
Right.
And you guys, you led the team, helped lead the team to a 21-9 record, an NIT bid in '87-'88. So playing 2 seasons, college basketball, how would you describe that experience?
You know, I think that's when I really realized, I knew I wanted to be a coach, but I used that to kind of springboard my career, you know, being able to be in a college environment, a college practice every day, seeing the daily operations of what goes into being a coach. That's kind of what got me really started, just by being in college and seeing other teams and other coaches and how they survive it every day.
You said you always knew you wanted to be a coach. How early did you know, all right, that's what I want to do one day? Was it at University of Louisiana Monroe, or was it much sooner?
It was. I never had an option. I never had a choice. I think the day I was born, that was it. I think once I got to Louisiana Monroe, then I figured out that, okay, this is college basketball. This is what I want to do one day. But from the age of all the way back to as far as I can remember, this is all I've ever done was sports. If it was football season, I played football. If it was basketball season, I played basketball. And if it was baseball season, I played baseball. So I didn't know anything else.
I had to do a double take when I read this. You graduated in '89, and here's the degrees you have: a Bachelor of Arts in Journalism, a Bachelor of Science in Health and Human Performance, and a Master of Education in Health and Human Performance. So I'm just curious, you didn't ever want to get behind a microphone or a camera, like hang out with me and Casey and Tommy on camera and everything, right?
Once I stopped coaching, once I retired, I kind of fell into this social media. So now, everybody see me now. I may spend 15 hours a day on my phone, taping kids, video kids, putting videos together. So I kind of do it now. As I say, man, you done reinvented yourself. You're still doing sports, but you kind of got a different flavor with it because you are filming and editing and putting videos together. But not doing what you do, probably not.
I think you'd be entertaining behind the mic, behind the camera. That's just me, though. Now, you began your coaching career as a grad assistant at ULM from '89 to '91. The team won back-to-back Southland Conference titles and earned NCAA tournament berths. You're fresh out of college.
Right.
You said you always knew you wanted to be a coach. This had to be a great experience from you. What did you learn from those seasons that kind of helped carry you into the remainder of your coaching career?
I think just studying the game, being a person who, I was a film guy, I was a workout guy, I was a basketball alcoholic, so to say. I could be in the game, playing in the game or being on the side. I could keep up with your points. I could keep up with your rebounds. I could keep up with your assists, your shot attempts, my assists, everybody on the team. So I didn't need a stat sheet. I could watch the game and keep all of it in my head, and that's what separated me from other people.
Now, you spent the '91-92 season at a high school, Tallulah High School, as an assistant. You helped lead the team to a district championship and a state playoff experience. Was this the moment, I've always wanted to ask you this, that it kind of clicked, high school basketball, this is where I want to be. Did it click at that moment in Tallulah?
I think Tallulah was the first person to give me an opportunity to coach. And I always knew I could coach. That was the easy part. But the opportunity was the hard part, getting the opportunity, having to take the NTE and pass the NTE and be certified to teach. That was the tough part for me. Once I got the job at Tallulah, I knew that I could motivate kids. I knew that I would stay in the gym. I knew that I would get in there early, 5 o'clock in the morning, and get home at 10, 11, and 12 every night. That was the easy part for me.
When did the thought start to appear on your radar, or even the notion or the desire to come back and lead your Provine Rams? When did that ever appear as a possibility or even a desire on your radar?
I think that always was a target for me. Even playing at Provine, I wanted to be able to come back and coach at the school that I played for. And crazy story, I played for Grady Dawson, and he called me one day and he said he was getting ready to retire and he wanted me to come up and talk to the principal. And I went and interviewed with the principal, and the principal he just told me no. And when you have been told no to a place that you think that you're supposed to go to, that's a devastating blow. Fast forward, and about 5 or 6 months later, the principal had some kind of aneurysm or something, and they got a new principal. And the new principal that came in taught me at Blackburn Middle School. And my high school coach called me back again and told me he wanted me to come talk to Mr. Reeves. I went to talk to Mr. Reeves, and that's the story. That's how I got the job.
Don't go anywhere. Audibles returns in a moment here on the Spirit Media Network.
It has often been said that home is where the heart is. It's where hard-working and dedicated people form the fabric of a thriving community. At Covington County Hospital, it's our priority to help keep our community safe, healthy, and moving. With our primary care clinics and services, we are working to keep you healthy. Because home is where the heart is. Home is where family matters. Covington County Hospital, where your health care matters.
At Atmos Energy, we believe affordable, reliable, and efficient natural gas is essential to achieving a low-carbon energy future. We're committed to helping protect the environment by providing smart choice solutions to help customers reduce energy use and lower their carbon footprint. Get a rebate up to $600 off qualifying high-efficiency natural gas appliances, smart thermostats, and weatherization upgrades. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy, your natural gas company.
Our farm's amber waves of grain become your tasty creations in the kitchen. From a bushel of wheat comes the flour you need to enjoy the breads, cakes, cereals, and pastas we all love so much. And even if you aren't a world-renowned chef, wheat grown in Mississippi is used in many of the foods you buy on the grocery store shelves. Wheat, just one of the many commodities a Mississippi farmer grows for you. The farm families of Mississippi.
Family owned and operated since 1986, Lakeside Molding has become the trusted source of architectural products throughout the South. They offer fine interior architectural moldings, custom millwork, and cabinet doors designed and handcrafted in Flowwood. Their showroom on Lakeland Drive is stocked with today's most sought-after interior details, including corbels, post, fireplace mantles, bath vanities, mirrors, and much more. Tim Shoemaker and his staff work closely to meet client needs for new construction, restoration, and remodeling projects. Lakeside Molding, where details make the difference.
In 1992, you did have the opportunity to return and get that job as the Provine Rams head basketball coach. What emotions are you feeling that day? You're standing there where you won 2 city championships. You love Ram City. Were you nervous, excited, ready to get started? All of the above? I mean, what emotions were you feeling?
You know, when I got the job at Provine, I knew that was it. I had that feeling that this is the place for me. This is home for me. I stay 2 miles away from Provine. Some days I can walk to work. My jogging route is around Provine High School, that neighborhood. So that was it for me. The team was not what I wanted when I first got there. All the talent was at Murrah and Lanier, so we had to build to catch up with those guys. But I knew when they gave me the opportunity at Provine High School, I knew that was something special. That was going to be something special.
Your 6 seasons at Provine, I loved putting this together. You led the Rams to a 116-65 record, 116 wins, only 65 losses, 2 state titles, and had just 1 losing season. Your first, you were just talking about that first season. Your final 2 years, you win the 1998 5A title. You finished ranked number 1 in the state, landed at number 25 in the final USA Today Boys High School Top 25 poll. You were also named the Clarion Ledger's Metro Coach of the Year in both of those 2 seasons that we're mentioning. That's an incredible run filled with a lot of success and a lot of memories. So as you and I sit here today, when you hear all that, what comes to your mind?
You know, I think about the kids that I coach, kids that are now, I would say out of that group, you may have 15 kids who are coaching some type of basketball right now. But you're talking about a competitive environment. The 6 years that I was at Provine High School, we had 2 guys, maybe 1 or 2 guys who played in the NBA, 4 or 5 who played overseas. We also had in the building, we had about 4 kids who played in the NFL in the building. And we had a kid, Shavante Stringfellow, who went to the Olympics that were all in the building at the same time. So the building was exploding with talent. It was a very competitive 6 years. We had some tough kids. Not only did they have a tough coach, we had some really tough kids.
It's crazy to think about all those athletes you're talking about being in that school at the same time. So in 1998, you make the decision to take on a new challenge and become an assistant coach with the Ole Miss men's basketball team.
Right.
Why did you feel that it was the right time to leave Provine at that moment and take on a new chapter and a new challenge?
You know, I think when you coaching and you are young in this profession, whenever you get the opportunity to step out, you got to step out. And especially if you're talking about going to a Power 5. You're talking about Power 5 school in the state of Mississippi, having a chance to do something that very few coaches in JPS have had the opportunity or chance to do. And it was a goal of mine. You know, when I first got to Provine, I wanted to do good for the community, good for the school. But my ultimate goal, my eye was on getting a Power 5 job.
From 1998 to 2002, you're an assistant at Ole Miss.
Okay.
3 NCAA appearances, 1 Sweet 16 appearance, and an NIT appearance. Again, you're part of a successful run, this time with a D1 program. When you look back at your time at Oxford, what lessons did you draw from that experience that you carried over into the remainder of your coaching career?
I think the thing that I took from Ole Miss was, first of all, I went to Ole Miss with 3 of my players from Provine: David Sanders, Aaron Harper, and Justin Reed. So to be able to go with 3 guys who you had been in the trenches with, all came from 2400 Robinson Road as a group, that was special. And then once we got there, I think being in the league and playing at Kentucky, at Florida, at Arkansas, at LSU, at Mississippi State, you got the top coaches in the country. And that's where I think I looked and I understood that, hey, you can learn from this. Not only are you coaching in the best league in the country, but every single day that you get ready for a game, look at the other team, look at the other coaches, look how they prepare. And I think I took that and that helped me with my career throughout my career.
Rod Barnes was the head coach during your time there?
Yes.
He's one of my favorite human beings. What did you learn from Coach Barnes that maybe you still put in play when you're working out players today and you used in your coaching career going forward?
I think the thing that I don't know if you say that you learn it or it was already there, but just being tough, how tough we were, how tough he practiced. I was already tough, and I already practiced tough. So once I got to Ole Miss and once I started working for him, I saw that toughness translated on that next level also. It was also at the Power 5. We were tough at Provine. And inside the SEC was one of the toughest leagues. And every day it was a grind. And when I got to Ole Miss and worked under Coach Barnes, I saw that, hey, this is the same thing that we've been doing, and it works. So I think it was just seeing that at that other level, that tough factor, being in the office, no nonsense, it works at the Power 5 level also. Coach
Barnes could be sneakily funny.
Right.
He was such a great guy, and I hope he gets to see this. Do you have a favorite Coach Barnes story that you could share?
Ooh, I would have to. A favorite Coach Barnes story.
If we need to wait till we're off camera, that's fine. But it makes better TV if you could share it.
I have to think on that one.
We might have to come back to that one, huh?
Yeah.
I love Coach Barnes. God bless him. A great guy. So you leave Ole Miss in 2002, and you take kind of a brief break.
Okay.
A couple years. You're out of coaching, and I have to wonder, anytime during that 2-year hiatus, did the thought ever creep up? Because it would be natural if it did for you to think, I need to hang up the whistle. Maybe I need to go do something else. You'd won a lot at that point. Been a part of a lot of successful runs. Did the thought ever cross your mind? Maybe it's time to hang up the whistle.
It never crossed my mind. At that point, I took a job over at the MBA, which is Mississippi Basketball and Athletics, and it was a deal where we were working our kids, and we had all the top kids in the state and throughout the country that were coming through there. And I'm gonna say I did that maybe about a month, and then I got the job at Pine somewhere in there. And in my mind, I knew I had the connection to all of the top kids in the state of Mississippi. And when I looked at Pinewood, I said, "Ooh, Pinewood is a boarding school. All of these kids can come to Pinewood and play basketball, and this can be like an Oak Hill." So I'm working at the MBA. We started getting kids from all over the place. The Ronaldo Sidneys, we started talking to the Brandon Jennings, the Quentin Rosses, DeVille Smith. So you start looking at, these are not players that are ranked number one in the state of Mississippi. These are players that are ranked number one in the country. And, you know, I think it was probably, I'm going to say probably too much at the time, because you were stepping on too many toes. You had kids that were transferred from Starkville High School, Biloxi High School, or Gulfport High School. You had kids inside of JPS who decided, I'm going to go to Pinewood from Forest Hill or Provine or Callaway, and it disrupted the whole state. It tore everything up because we just had too many players. And if I could go back and change anything, it probably would be those 3 years when I coached at Pinewood. That was the most talent probably that I ever saw. But it was the worst time for coaching because I wasn't allowed to coach because, Mississippi High School had the rules and a kid can't transfer here and there. And it was just a bad time for basketball at that time.
Now that the rules have become a little more lax, that's interesting that you say that, because now the rules, they're a little more relaxed than they were then. Do you ever look back now and be like, man, if the rules today were in place? Because you got kids transferring left and right nowadays in football, basketball, baseball. You ever look back and think, man, if those rules had been in place at Piney Woods, man, we would have racked up. Do you ever think that way?
You know, I think it's different because the rules now are rules. Mm-hmm. When I was at Piney Wood, they were the Wayne Brent rules.
Oh.
So if I coach now, the Wayne Brent rules will come out again. This is the thing that people didn't understand. I work with everybody. So, and I don't beg you to come to no school, because what I do, I work out at 5 o'clock in the morning, and you can't beg a kid to come to your school and work out at 5 o'clock in the morning. I got some discipline, some consistency, some hard work. I can give you that. And if that's what you want, then that's the place that you need to be at. And so what happens when you work out the entire state, then mama and daddy and auntie and uncle, they start saying that, hey, I want my baby to go to school there. Mm-hmm. And that's what got me caught. It wasn't the recruiting. It was my ability to talk to a kid and mentor a kid and show that kid that, hey, if you do this, you got a chance to go Power 5, or you got a chance to get a Division I scholarship. You got a chance to play overseas or in the NBA. And that's the part that people didn't understand. It wasn't the recruiting. It was my ability to be able to get you out of your situation and get you into a better situation.
That's interesting. That's an interesting take. I always wondered about Piney Woods because you guys had success there.
Yeah.
You win 3 district titles. And I think the thought was always, Coach Brent, he's used to winning state championships. So hearing you kind of explain what was going on at Piney Woods now, it kind of brings some clarity to that.
The only reason we didn't win the state championship at Piney Woods, we were on probation.
Right.
So we just played in the regular season, and we couldn't play in the playoffs. We had the number 1 team in the state both years. So if we were allowed to play, then you're talking about, okay, they could have won another 2 state championships, because you got Ronaldo sitting at the best player in the country. At the time, he's the number 1 player in the world, and he's in the 9th grade. He's 6'10", and at that time he was at the top of his game, but he was sitting out.
That's crazy to look back at. Yeah, you could have more rings by
Yeah.
now, man.
Yeah.
Hate to bring up a bad memory there, but yeah, you can have more rings at this point.
Don't go anywhere. Audibles returns in a moment here on the Spirit Media Network.
The fabric of any community is its people. It's the commitment to hard work and to be our best. It's where you know your neighbor by name. It's where family is important. At Covington County Hospital, we are your family and friends. That's why your healthcare is important to us. From emergency room visits to primary care to behavioral health, we want to make sure that healthcare is available when you need it. Covington County Hospital, where your healthcare matters.
It all starts with an idea, but how do you make it a reality? At Common House Productions, we specialize in creative and tailored video content. Whether it's crafting a story from the beginning or simply bringing your idea to life, we can help you bridge that gap and produce video content that shines. Common House Productions.
Looking for your next unforgettable experience? Come explore Cypress Point, Mississippi's premier event venue, offering breathtaking spaces for weddings, gatherings, and special moments. Get wild on our one-of-a-kind safari tours, where adventure is just a ride away. Then kick back at the tavern, where great food, cold drinks, and good times are always on the menu. And don't miss the live music every week at Cameron's Garage, the new hotspot for the best local tunes and late-night fun. Experience it all at Cypress Point, where memories are made and adventure is just the beginning.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas from Atmos Energy. It's efficient and reliable energy that's essential for today and generations to come. You can count on affordable natural gas to help you save money and keep you comfortable while fueling your dream home. So make the smart choice and talk to a builder today about including natural gas. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy, your natural gas company.
So the next chapter in your coaching career, this was so interesting. You're heading back to JPS. And why did you feel like, what was it about Callaway that just jumped off the job offer pages and you were like, okay, this is the job for me. I got to go to Callaway.
You know what? It had nothing to do with Callaway.
Really?
It all had to do with Dr. Proctor. Dr. Proctor was the executive director of Mississippi High School. And I remember the Callaway job came open. And I called Dr. Proctor. And at this time, I had been on probation, couldn't play in the playoffs. The school had got fined $35,000 or $40,000. So we was going through all that. So I'm going to meeting after meeting after meeting after meeting. I got this rule, that rule. I can't go to the gym anymore. And I work at the NBA. I'm a workout guy, so I can't go to the gym. So I called Dr. Proctor and I asked him, I said, Callaway job is coming open. Would it be a problem if I go to Callaway and coach? Because at that point, I'm tired of fighting this battle. I want to coach. And I can't do it at Pinewood. They're not going to allow me to do it. And it's causing too many problems. And he opened up the floodgate. He said, Coach, you can go to Callaway. And when I got that dialogue from him, because this is a person, we were not talking. This was two pit bulls who were looking at things totally different. I couldn't coach at Pinewood. He allowed me to coach at Callaway, and now we talking. That's what made me take the job at Callaway.
The icebreaker between you and Dr. Proctor. That's what opened it up for you to go to Callaway.
That's what opened it up.
Well, you get back to Callaway and you find yourself talking about pit bulls. You got Luther Riley over at Provine. You got Coach Billups. Here's your shout out, Coach Billups. Over at Lanier. And so all you guys were in the same region?
In the same division.
Same division, in the same city, in the same state. So those games were like state championship games. You had people lining up at 2 and 3 o'clock in the afternoon to get in the gate, to get through the doors, to get a seat to watch you guys play. So, I mean, with 3 elite programs in one city, one region. How did that help you elevate your game?
You know what? When I got to Callaway, and like I say, Coach Biller was at Lanier and Coach Riley was at Provine, that was the most competitive basketball in JPS. We all were in the same division. And back then, you had 4 teams in the division. We had Provine, Callaway, and Lanier, and then somebody else. There was just other team that was in there. It changed every year. And we were ranked 1, 2, and 3 in the state. Sometimes we would be 1, sometimes Lanier would be 1, sometimes Provine would be 1. We were the top 3 teams in the state. But if you know anything about the district tournament, you can only take 2 teams out of the division. Mm-hmm. So that means one of us who is in the top 5 in the state will not be going anywhere. And once you got outside of the division, we would play, I'm gonna say if we played Provine or we played Lanier in the division championship game, more than likely the game will go down to the buzzer. Mm-hmm. Well, the first round on that Tuesday when we got away from them, that's a 40, 50 point game. You're gonna beat that next team by 40 or 50. Your next 3 opponents, you're gonna beat them by anywhere from 30 to 40 points. So your road to the Coliseum, not very hard. The road to the Coliseum that was hard was inside of that division. Mm-hmm. The division was what was tough.
It's kind of interesting, and looking back at you and Coach Phillips and Coach Riley and all the talent that came through, all the players that came through, all the championships, I got to ask, because Coach Phillips is one of my favorite guys. Okay. He's been on the show. And I had a friend that found out I was interviewing Coach Phillips a couple years ago. Okay. And they said, he's so mean. And I'm like, the thing is when you get to talking to him, he's one of the nicest guys. But that was just his demeanor on the court. Right. He always looked like that pit bull you're talking about. So I got to ask, you're retired now, so do you have a favorite story from when you were going against Coach Billups or Coach Riley? Either one?
You know, I guess I'll take Coach Billups first. And we would play 5 times during the season. Mm-hmm. And getting ready for that Lanier game, you know, Coach, you knew that when you played Coach Billups, a normal game would last an hour and 15 minutes. Mm-hmm. But for some reason, when you play Coach Billups and Lanier, the game ended up lasting 3 hours. So then you would go back and look at it and say, okay, he's messing with the referee. He cussing them out. He's messing with your table. He cussing them out. He's messing with the person at the book. They over there erasing stuff. They confused. So he would tear the whole game up. And I'm saying, how is he coaching and controlling his players? He got everything in the gym just totally chaotic. But it was always fun playing against him. But he would make your game last 3 hours. You know, and Riley was a little bit different. He was more one of those guys who would call you the day, you know, a week before the game, and the closer it got, he wouldn't deal with you, and he would kind of set you up. But I'll never forget when I was coaching at Ole Miss, and Riley was the coach at Provine, and we're recruiting some kids, and I come down from Ole Miss, and Coach Riley and myself, we sitting on the back steps at Provine, and they got all these kids in the gym, and they got high level kids, and at the time it's during one of those periods that you don't supposed to be in the gym. Mm-hmm. So the kids I end up playing, Riley and I, we sitting on the steps, and I'm facing this way and Riley's facing that way. Riley and I, we in a conversation. All of a sudden, he just take out running. I'm like, what in the hell? I look back, and it's NZ Bryan from Mississippi High School. Oh. And so we laugh about it all the time. But the two of us end up getting a letter, and we just sitting out there talking. But it was so funny when we and that's the thing that we tell guys now, Coach Billups, Coach Brent, and Coach Riley, we were always on the line to being on probation. Mm-hmm. And the coaches now, they don't ever get in trouble. So you know now that you're not going to win at the games unless you get close to that line. Mm-hmm. But the three of us, we always stay close to that line.
That is so funny. He just takes off running as soon as he sees the MHSAA on the scene. So your time at Callaway, again, another successful run, 07 to 2013, you led the Chargers to 5 division and 4 state championships in 6 seasons. You had a 33-6 record and a state title in only your second season there. What was the recipe to success at Callaway, where you guys won 4 titles in 6 years? Is it getting close to that line that you're talking about?
You know what? I was always close to the line. I was always a guy that, hey, he going to be on probation wherever he go, because he does not know how to stay out of the gym. He going to break all the rules of practice. He going to break all the rules of being in the gym. If it's snowing and they come on the intercom and they say, we're not having any activities after school, the basketball players going to look around and say, that announcement can't be for Coach Brent, because they knew that Coach Brent going to practice. In a hailstorm, he going to practice. Snowstorm, he going to practice. That was just that was just how I was brought up. I didn't believe in not practicing. I didn't believe in going by the rule, the so-called. I didn't break the rules that were going to kill anybody. I broke the rules to keep him off the street. I need to know where he is, whether it was going to the toot or whether it was working on his jump shot. I need to see him. So I didn't really care about rules. I cared about, can I get this individual to be the best individual that he can be, whether it's working a job as a doctor, a lawyer, a fireman, a teacher, or whether it's playing basketball at the next level. That's all I was concerned about.
You're teaching work ethic.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing. You're trying to impact them to carry that work ethic into adult life as a man, as a husband, a father, whatever it is they're going to be when basketball's over. So I admire that. So in 2013, you get the opportunity that every coach wants. They want to coach in college. They want to be a head basketball coach in college. You got that opportunity when Jackson State came a-calling. So take me back to that moment when you stood there at the podium. I've seen the press conference 100 times. I mean, I could just see it on your face, and knowing you as long as I've known you, it was a moment of pride for you. Take me back to that moment and what emotions you were feeling.
You know what, going back to that moment in 2013, at that moment you realize that everything that you have done over your 15 to 20-year career, now you get the opportunity to do what you actually really set out to do when you started actually saying you want to be a coach. And that was to be a coach on the Division I level. So you at the podium and everything is racing through your mind, but the only thing that you're really concerned with is that you finally get the opportunity to be a Division I basketball coach.
Don't go anywhere. Audibles returns in a moment here on the Spirit Media Network.
Great healthcare shouldn't be out of reach. It should be near when things get tough, available at a moment's notice. Great healthcare should have heart. It should be advanced and available to all. At Covington County Hospital, great healthcare isn't out of reach. Great healthcare is just around the corner, serving you and your family for over 70 years. Covington County Hospital, where your healthcare matters.
Family owned and operated since 1986, Lakeside Molding has become the trusted source of architectural products throughout the South. They offer fine interior architectural moldings, custom millwork, and cabinet doors designed and handcrafted in Flowwood. Their showroom on Lakeland Drive is stocked with today's most sought-after interior details, including corbels, post, fireplace mantles, bath vanities, mirrors, and much more. Tim Shoemaker and his staff work closely to meet client needs for new construction, restoration, and remodeling projects. Lakeside Molding, where details make the difference.
From our view on this farm, food security is national security. Our nation must have a sustainable food source. Keeping the supply chain moving and food on our grocery store shelves by growing the cleanest food in the world.
We're only one of thousands, but we are united as one to grow the food, fiber, and shelter you need every day because Mississippi needs us. Mississippi needs farmers, the farm families of Mississippi.
At Atmos Energy, we believe affordable, reliable, and efficient natural gas is essential to achieving a low-carbon energy future. We're committed to helping protect the environment by providing smart choice solutions to help customers reduce energy use and lower their carbon footprint. Get a rebate up to $600 off qualifying high-efficiency natural gas appliances, smart thermostats, and weatherization upgrades. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy, your natural gas company.
Nine seasons at Jackson State. Again, another successful run. 118 wins, 87 wins in SWAC play. You led Jackson State to a 20-win season, a SWAC regular season co-championship, and a victory in the collegeinsider.com postseason tournament. I've always wondered about the time at Jackson State. Is there something maybe that doesn't get the ink and publicity that you're most proud of during your time at Jackson State, maybe that the public doesn't know about?
I think the one thing that went unseen when I was at Jackson State was we had to play during COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And we won the league that year and we went undefeated. And I think that was the one thing, because we were playing and it may have been they were limiting the amount of people who could come to the game. So it might be 400 people, might be 500 people. So I think a lot of people don't know it. They didn't understand that we actually won the SWAC during the COVID year, but the crowd was not allowed to come watch the game. So I think that's the one thing that I wish that team would have experienced, was being able to let fans come in the game and see the game and see how good the team was. That was probably one of the only years that I started with my original group and we didn't have injuries and we played the whole season and we did it in a COVID season.
A lot of lessons a lot of people learned from that COVID season in basketball, football, really any sport, because it was just a different time for everybody. And that is impressive that you guys were able to win like you did during that time. So the time comes in after the 21-22 season, you decide it's time to step down.
Right.
Did you know at that moment that was it? Going back to that question earlier about hanging the whistle up, did you know that was it as far as coaching like you've been coaching, not doing what you're doing now, but coaching a team, coaching a program? Did you know at that moment that it was it?
You know what, I growing up and as a young coach, I knew that I probably would die on the court. I'd already made up my mind. They're gonna have to roll me out of here. I'm gonna have to be dead. They're gonna have a casket and they're gonna say, man, that guy died on the court. And during that season, I felt really good going into the season. We probably had one of the most talented teams in my tenure at Jackson State. We had a good non-conference. We had wins on the road against Louisiana Lafayette. We went to we had a couple of other guarantee games that we had won. So we were playing really well. And the first SWAC game we played Alcorn at home, and we played bad. We lose to Alcorn, and you got about 5,000 or 6,000 people in the stands, and it was just a funk around the team. It was just a bad feeling. And walking off the court, it hit me that this is it. This is it. And over the next 2 or 3 weeks, I tried to trick myself. That, hey, I can still do this. I can still get through it. And we left the Alcorn game and we went to Alabama State and Alabama A&M. And I had never been depressed in my life, and I didn't know what depression was. We played Alabama State and we lose the basketball game. And I just got a bad feeling like this is it for me. So I pick up the phone and I call my athletic director, Ashley Robinson. And Ashley was really, really good with me. He was always energetic. And I'll never forget the conversation. I called him and I said, hey, man, you may want to start looking for you another coach. Because at the time, my tank was on E. I was completely on E, and I was limping toward the finish line. And I knew that this job got to go to somebody else. Somebody younger got to come in here and get this job, because I have given this job all that I have. And when I look back at it, it was the 9 years of guarantee games, of playing 13 guarantee games on the road. This is the difference between me, and this is probably where I killed myself. And when I told you, you're going to have to roll me out of here in a casket. So I'm thinking about this season, thinking about what's going on. When you play 13 guarantee games, most coaches in the SWAC just play 13 guarantee games and they know they're going to get paid, so they're okay with it. They just play the games and, okay, we lost the game, they better. My mindset wasn't built like that. I walked into the game, and whether it was Dean Smith or whether it was Denny Crum or whether it was John Thompson or whether it was Chris Beard or whether it was Chris Jans, I looked on the other side and I didn't fear anybody. I thought that we could win the game. So I would stay up all night watching tape to win a guaranteed game, looking to get that magic on that one day in that bottle. And it's not realistic to be able to do. And I think that's what burnt me out, trying to get the guarantee game. It wasn't the SWAC game, because we were all even. It was the guarantee games of playing 13 on the road and in the airport and on the bus and in the hotel. And then you got to go out there and play a Power 5 guy team that got 3 or 4 guys that are going to the pros. And in my mind, I wanted to win. And in my mind, I wasn't scared of anybody on the other team or the other coach. I walked in the gym with a chip on my shoulder, thinking that we may be able to get one of these. And I think that burnt me out.
Because you're a competitor.
Yeah.
Always been a competitor. So for folks watching, they want to know, all right, so what is Coach Brent doing now? So what are you doing now? You know what, I work more now than I did when I was coaching at Jackson State or Pinewood or Ole Miss. My day start some mornings I might get up at 6, some mornings I may get up at 7:30, depending on if I got to work out a kid. But I'm not going to get off the court sometimes at 8 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night. If I got to go watch a kid at Ole Miss or Mississippi State, LSU, or South Jones, or Pascagoula, I may not get home till 1 o'clock in the morning. So I'm going from 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning, 7:30 in the morning, to 12, 1, 2 at night. And I'm constantly going. I was at a game the other day and I went to 4 different games at 4 different sites. And I posted. And the guy texted me and said, man, how do you be at this game and that game? I said, man, this is what I do. This is what I love. And it's 15 hours to 20 hours a day, either doing a workout, talking to a team, talking to a coach, or watching one of those guys that I work out, or watching one of those coaches that I coach, watching their team practice. So I do that every day. Yeah, just kind of a little insight, a little behind the curtain here. When you and I were, one of the phone conversations the other day, you were doing that. You were going from game to game and going and checking out some of the players you work out.
Don't go anywhere. Audibles returns in a moment here on the Spirit Media Network. Looking for your next unforgettable experience? Come explore Cypress Point, Mississippi's premier event venue, offering breathtaking spaces for weddings, gatherings, and special moments. Get wild on our one-of-a-kind safari tours, where adventure is just a ride away. Then kick back at the tavern, where great food, cold drinks, and good times are always on the menu. And don't miss the live music every week at Cameron's Garage, the new hot spot for the best local tunes and late-night fun. Experience it all at Cypress Point, where memories are made and adventure is just the beginning.
At Atmos Energy, we believe affordable, reliable, and efficient natural gas is essential to achieving a low-carbon energy future. We're committed to helping protect the environment by providing smart choice solutions to help customers reduce energy use and lower their carbon footprint. Get a rebate up to $600 off qualifying high-efficiency natural gas appliances, smart thermostats, and weatherization upgrades. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy, your natural gas company.
From the seed, and the soil grows row after row. We take care of this land, using just the right amount of our natural resources and never more than we need.
We are only one of thousands, but we are united as one to grow the food, fiber, and shelter you need every day. Because Mississippi needs us. Mississippi needs farmers, the farm families of Mississippi.
Family owned and operated since 1986, Lakeside Molding has become the trusted source of architectural products throughout the South. They offer fine interior architectural moldings, custom millwork, and cabinet doors designed and handcrafted in Flowwood. Their showroom on Lakeland Drive is stocked with today's most sought-after interior details, including corbels, post, fireplace mantles, bath vanities, mirrors, and much more. Tim Shoemaker and his staff work closely to meet client needs for new construction, restoration, and remodeling projects. Lakeside Molding, where details make the difference.
So now the question that everybody wants to know. I've waited a long time to ask you this. Where did the style originate? All the jackets, the style, the suits, no one could keep up with you. Every time you showed up, it was like, man, how are we going to outdo Coach Brent? Like, where did the style originate from? Is it your own style? Did you kind of take different ideas and ingredients from maybe some others? So where did it originate from?
You know, I think it was I had an older sister, and she worked in a store called J. Riggins that was in the Metro Center.
I remember that store.
And they had all kind of clothes and jackets, and I think she was the one who spoiled me, and she would bring stuff home, or she would buy stuff and bring it to me, and I would put it together. And I think the thing that made me unique, like even today, I got a shirt on that doesn't go with this jacket. So most people say, man, you got too much contrast in there. You can't do that. I think with me, I'm an out of the box person. So I can say, okay, you cannot do it, but I got enough confidence, I can do it, I can pull it off. So I think that mindset of just being confident in who you are and being able to say, okay, normally people wouldn't put this together, but that's why I'm aware, because I want to be different from the next guy. You know, most of the time they're gonna put a white shirt under here.
Yeah.
I don't want a white shirt. I want a shirt that's gonna catch your eye. That when that guy walk in the gym, they say, "Hey, that's that guy that work out kids," and he got a military mindset. And look what he got on. He out of the box. And that's my mindset when I walk in there.
Yeah, I wish people could see the sock game is strong today. The shoe game is strong. When you walked in, I was like, of course, there's Coach Brent. And you're right. When you walk in somewhere, people take notice.
Yeah.
You have a presence about you. So, all right, so I'm going to switch gears up on you a little bit. So you are a workaholic.
Right.
How do you wind down and relax? Like, what is your go-to? What do you do when you're not working out a kid or not going to games, not scouting? Like, I see your eyes searching right now. Like, what do you do to just kind of wind down and relax?
You know, that there is no relax for me. I'm a guy that worked 35 years.
Mm-hmm.
I never been on vacation.
Really?
I never missed a day of work. So when people look at me and they say, "Coach, I'm not going to practice today," I look at them. I say, "You're not going to practice?" I don't know what a vacation is. Like, I'm a coach, so when I recruited in Las Vegas and California and Chicago. So all I did, I took my family with me, and that is a vacation. So why do I need a vacation to do this again when my job is a vacation every day? So when I got the job, all I know is going to work every day. There's nobody that can call you, or no guy that I coach can call you and say, "Hey, Coach gave us a day off. He didn't come to school today." They can't tell you that. Only thing they can tell you is, man, that guy is at work every single day, and he's here early and he stays late. That's my routine. And I enjoy doing that every single day. It's one thing I learned from coaching and everyday work. I'm a very disciplined person. And when you look at discipline is doing something that you don't want to do, but making other people think that you love doing it. And that's what I do. I go every day on them days that I don't want to be there, but I don't let you know that I don't want to be there.
So whenever you do get to relax, or whenever you decide to relax, I got some Netflix suggestions for you, maybe a few podcasts. You can text me. I'll give you some recommendations on some stuff that you might be able to. Well, let's try it this way. So I always like asking this question. If we hop in the vehicle right now, me and you and Casey, and we're going to eat lunch or dinner somewhere, what's on, if you're choosing the music, what's on the playlist? Are we listening to a podcast? Are we listening to music? And if it's music, what are we listening to?
If we are listening to, first of all, you may not want to get in my car and listen to my music.
Why?
Because my music is hard, is gutter, is Tupac, is
Man, I grew up on Tupac.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my mindset is different because when I get ready to go to a workout or when I get ready to go into a game, I listen to tough music, hard music.
Yeah.
And my music just different. It's old school. It's hard. And my music make you want to do something. And that's the kind of music I listen to. So it got a beat, it got a jump. And I listen to music that gets me ready to run out of the dressing room. So when I come into this interview, I'm listening to music that has taken me to a different level because I know I'm finna go in here and I got to be on a different mindset. I got to be ready for whatever question they ask. So I'm a Tupac guy. I'm a DMX guy. I'm somebody like that got a beat that's gonna make me want to get ready to fight. I get ready for a game. I get ready to be in a different mindset.
I'm going to shock you. I can rap every single line of All Eyes on Me. I won't do it on camera, but I'm gonna prove it to you one day. I can rap every single.
You got
part
all of it.
All Eyes on Me. Every song on All Eyes on Me. I may have just shocked some people, or I don't know.
You would do good.
I got some street cred now. I'm just saying. Look, so you made such an impact on not just Jackson area basketball, but Mississippi basketball. Do you ever kind of reflect? And I know you're not wired this way, but do you ever stop for a moment and think, because I'm sure people come up to you and say, "Hey, I remember when you coached my son, or you coached me." You ever think about the impact that you've had on basketball?
You know what? I don't. I just get up and go. I go. And the one thing I wish I probably could change, sometime when I'm, out with my kids, my fiance, something like that, I'm out with them and people come up and talk to you about working out. It kind of take from them because every time I go somewhere with them, somebody want to know, hey, can you work such and such out? I got a daughter, I got a son, and they have some problem with their shot. And everybody always looking at me, they looking at me like, man, come on. We got to do this again. We listen to you on the phone in the house, but that's just me. Mm-hmm. And I enjoy doing it. But I guess if there's one thing that I wish I probably could handle better, it would be giving my time to the people that are in my house.
My final question for you, kind of piggybacking off of that question, if you could leave one message for players, coaches, past players and coaches that you've coached against, former players, and maybe someone's watching now that their son's playing basketball currently or they're coaching, but what would be your message to them?
My message would be, at some point, regardless of what job you have, whether it's in sports or whether it's in the regular, everybody on the job has talent. Mm-hmm. And when talent meet talent, then talent is no longer the X factor. And you got to be mentally tough, and you got to give great effort, and you got to work harder than the next guy. And I always tell guys when I talk to them, I got up at 5 o'clock in the morning and I went to work and I started my day off running. And the only person out there with me was my shadow. and there's no fans, nobody clapping, nobody cheering. It's just you and your shadow. And when you look back, you're only gonna see your shadow. And you got to get used to that.
It's a good message. And I don't know when they're going to build the statue, but I want to be there. I want you. They got to build a statue. You think I'm kidding? They need to build a statue. A lifetime of achievements and impacting young people. And this is one I've wanted to do for a long time, and I'm glad we finally got to sit down and do it. Thank you for taking time to do this with us. And I look forward to seeing you down the road.
Appreciate you. I appreciate you having me.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
It's good to see you, man. Thank you for coming today.
Okay.
Yeah, he's got a newborn at home. Yeah, he's on baby duty. Yeah, they had a little baby yesterday, or 20th, 21st, I think.
Newborn.
20th, yeah. All right, you ready, Coach?
I'm ready.
All right.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week for another episode of Audibles with Jason Scarborough.